boys, and we're back. It's Sorare. This video is completely different. We're not even going to start looking into game weeks and what we've what we've won, what we haven't won, lineups. We're not doing that. This one is purely down to the gallery. I'm at just under £3,600. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be showing you my manager stats so you can see exactly. I put it into pounds and we'll do, because it converts it to Ethereum anyway. I want to be as transparent as possible. What you see is what you get. I don't lie to you guys, so what you'll see on here is what we'll have. On this particular one, you'll see, now when you see something like here, £7,800, what that does is, say I was to buy a player of £200, I sell the player for £200, get my money back, but then go and buy another player for £200. In total, I've only spent £200. However, the game will think I've spent £400 because it's total purchases, and I bought two players but for the same price. Do you see what I mean? So when it says £7,800, that's not the reality. I've actually probably spent, I know, because I know what I put into the game for my own money and stuff, so I know what I put in, and that's not the case at all. Can I have my everything back, please? Thank you. Yeah, there we go. So, yes, this is roughly correct. You know, I am around £1,500. I'm out. You know, I started, as it says here, on the 18th of January of 2022, which means I'm nearly up to my 1 year anniversary, which we'll celebrate with a couple of giveaways for you guys. But for the purpose of this, yes, it says I've got around just over £3,000, nearly £600. I'm around £600 loss, so that would actually bring us around £5,250. Time I actually finished buying a couple of players by the end of January, which we'll be showing you soon. I should be, yeah, in total I'll be over £4,000 over 4 ETH, and he'll probably be over £2,000. So you'd be thinking right now, well, if you're losing money and that much money in a year, why are you doing it? Well, first of all, it's a game. Second of all, you've got to think what you want long term out of this game, not short term, long term. If you're in for short term profit, this is the wrong game for you. So if you think you're going to come in with a bag of sand and just throw it in the game and then come out yielding, you know, it's naive of you. That's not how it works. It can, and as we saw with the World Cup, people that just started went and just put some commons in and managed to finish first, second and third and got thousands of pounds back. Fantastic. But look, there was over 500,000, 750,000 people playing that week in, week out. And look how many people actually got star limited and actual yielding money. There wasn't an awful lot compared to the amount of people that was in there. A lot of people just get commons and tier 3s max. You know what I mean? So you've got to really think long term. For me, I am yielding 26 rewards, you know, a third of them, half of them were just from the World Cup. So actually I'm not doing, maybe that's an inflated ego when you see that. You're not actually doing as good as what you might think. I definitely haven't had 5 tier 0 limiteds. They'll be like commons and stuff, because if I had that, I'd be making hundreds of pounds of profit right now, which I'm not. But that's where I am with this particular. But right now I want to talk about the players. We want to go straight in to about the players, and what we're going to do is literally work from Champion Europe, Challenger, and we're going to work our way down. Now, Champion Europe, I'll be honest with you, Champion Europe is probably my weakest out of all the leagues, just because they're the most expensive players to buy. So I put all my money in and effort and time into the other leagues. That's not to say that we don't have some cracking players, because if we go into League, Champion Europe, filter this bad boy, we do have. Now what you're going to see, and I'm not going to repeat this over and over and over again, is I have under 23 players and second division players. What you might see is them in the Champion Europe or Challenger or Asia or MLS, the American and everything. Bear in mind, every time you see a player that's 23 or under, I'm more than likely going to be playing them in the 23 or under, unless there's a favourable game week or, you know, a particular thing. So, like, for example, this is a perfect example now. Cohen Castells, Wolfsburg, Bundesliga will be my main go-to-go week in, week out for Champion Europe. Unless it's better putting him in All-Star that particular week, and we'll do it. But majority of the time, that's where it's going to go. Georgia, who I've just gone ahead and bought, will be specifically La Liga, where Valencia is under 2023 until 2025. He'll be going in the under 23s 9 times out of 10. Do you see where I'm going with this? So I'm not going to keep repeating this. anytime you see someone that you know is 23 under, more than likely they're going to be going into that section. But yes, let's go into it. So Castells, I think, is an amazing goalkeeper for Champion Europe. Super happy with that. And a massive upgrade from Oliver Wahlmann that I originally had a year ago. So brilliant, fantastic. We go into defenders, and we can see straight away my main two, go-to guys is David Raum and Jordi Alba. We do have, and again, Leipzig moved from Hoffenheim to Leipzig, plays as a left back, and Jordi Alba again is a left back for Barcelona. David Raum is like 9 years, 10 years younger than Jordi Alba, doesn't play for as good of a team, but he's not that far away and he's got many years on him. So as Jordi Alba fades out, we've got David Raum as a backup, and then we've got some other additional players, Alexandro for Juve, Carvajal for Real Madrid, Hummels for Borussia Dortmund, and we've got some other players, we've got Brighton's left back, I believe, Perez Estupiñán. We've got Hoffenheim, Garcia. We've got some other players down here. Mario Rui, he's actually just as good as Jordi Alba, if not better than these two guys. But the problem is, for Napoli, he's always their number one pinpoint left back. And if he was, he'd be my go-to guy week in, week out. It's just when he plays, he's incredible. He gets 60, 70, 80 every single game week. And when he doesn't play, and he comes on as a sub, he might just get a lower score. It's really frustrating because yes, he is 31, but he's by no means old or anything. You've got Jordi Alba here at 33. He could be their pinpoint left back, so it is frustrating, but Mario Rui, he's definitely up there. But as you can see, we've got 2 or 3 big boys and we've got a lot of rotation. Midfielders, we can go straight into the big ones, which is Brais Mendes from Real Sociedad. He is their out and out attacker, attacking midfielder, and we've got David Silva who plays in that similar position, but where all the goals and assists come is normally from Brais Mendes. He's an absolute beast and one of the best in Champion Europe in total, so very happy that we've got him there. We've got and then we've got rotationary players. Valentin Rongier doesn't score an assist anywhere near as much, but his AA is absolutely amazing. So he normally hits 55, 65 just from AA in general. If he got an decisive, this guy can do it. The problem is that he gets good AA and he normally gets a decisive, so it's just an upgrade to Valentin. But then we also have some other players. Carlos Soler is going to be an incredible player, I generally do believe, if he was a fixed on nil starter with a club. But the problem is he plays for PSG, they have such a wealth of attacking experience and just great players in general. Enzo Lefebvre, David Silva, we've got some great players. I'm not touching on Enzo Lefebvre too much, and if I'm scurrying by him, he actually is probably one of my best midfielders. These are the 2 best, but because he's under 23, as you can see, that's the section we'll be highlighting him. We'll move on to forwards straight away, and we've got Muriqi, and we've got Gerard Deulofeu, Udinese, and we've got him for Mallorca. So 2 different styles of playing. Gerard is more like a winger / attacker, and is fast, is quick, pacey, and Muriqi is more of a out and out striker, holds play up, brings players in, gets on the end of corners, that sort of thing. So I'll rotate between these 2 bad boys. Again, Dango is for the under 23s, but we've got rotationary Borja Iglesias, Morales, and Munas Adeba. So we've got rotation in that one. We'll go back to goalkeepers. We'll change it into challenger real quick for you. So I'll go into the challenger. Lars Unnerstall for 20. I've actually got the goalkeeper. You'll see now as we go through, I've got the goalkeeper, 2 defenders, midfielder, and the striker. So I've got a full stack for 20, an incredible team in their respective league. So I've got Lars Unnerstall, which will be predominantly always my number 1 for All-Star or whatever I'll put him in, majority All-Star. But then I also have some other players such as Onerkin Piri, Gunnar Govenk in the Turkish league. We've also got Tino Casali, Davi Ruef. These 3 don't play, but he does get rotated, Ruef, and he lost his place for Genk, and if he can get it back, that'd be amazing. So I bought him when he was in, and then literally a week or 2 later, he lost his place, never got his place back. So I spent a load of money on him for no reason, essentially, which is really frustrating, but it is what it is. We've got Nicholas Hedder, which I'll be looking to sell because I've now already got my under-23s goalkeeper, which I've already shown you from the Champion Europe. And these two, I'm just keeping these until eventually they become starters at some point for their respective teams, and then I'll just go and sell them as soon as the price increases. Fingers crossed, that's the goal. Defenders, we've got some beasts here, guys. Honestly, look, Daniel Munaz, absolutely formidable, by far the best defender I have. Plays for Ghent as well, so I need a remarkable team. 20, we've got the two 20 boys, under 23s, and Flight All-Star. Gilhem doesn't play for an incredible team, Konyaspor, I was trying to pronounce it, but him himself is great. I think he plays as a right back, I want to say off the top of my head. And then we've got Brandon Machil, who again plays for Club Bruges, which is a great team, don't concede an awful lot of goals, and he would be my go-to. But you can see here, I've got some really quality players from Munaz, Small, Hilgers, Gilhem, and then I've got some, even these players, you know, would be classed as my top, Genk and Club Bruges. I've got some rotationary players here. All the rotational players from all the respective leagues can go in underdog, specialist. When they do the caps, they can go in there. I can use them for upcoming games, which I believe Sorare will announce shortly, going January, going into February, about other game modes that they'll potentially throw in over the coming months. All these will get used, maybe not immediately, but they will. Midfielders, boys, let's have a look. So, I mean, I'm stacked here. Anastasios Bakasetas, which is one of the best midfielders on the entire platform. Teddy Tuma. Again, we've got Ramiz Zaroki, another 20 player. Danny DeWitt. I've got some absolutely amazing midfielders. Again, I've got some rotational midfielders such as Efkan, Candeas, Emmanuel, Hyun Suk Hong, Mateus Samois, under 23 players. But as I said, Anastasios, Teddy, Danny DeWitt, and Ramiz is like my four main big midfielders. Going into the forwards section, guys, we've got another 20 player, Ricky Van Wolfswinkel. I actually had him, if you believe, like a year ago, 11, 12 months ago. I think I bought this guy and then I sold him. I remember when he played for Norwich in, I think it was Premier League at the time, maybe Championship. We've also got Pepe, Nuno Santos. I've got some, three big players for Sporting Lisbon, Porto, 20, all respectable teams in their league. We've got Ken Kubau, again, will be in the 23s. We've got some rotationary players, Yele Vossen, Jetmir Tapali, Marcus Pink, Jean, Seda, Jordan. So I've got some rotation, but again, I always wanted three big players in each one, and that's Asia, that's the American leagues, Challenger, Europe, under 23s, second division, 2 or 3 big strikers for each position, midfielder and defenders and goalkeepers. So I had constant rotation with quality players and 3 or 4 extra players in each position that were rotationary, that could do the come in and out of underdog specialist. So I've got that really nice balance here. We go back to goalkeeper. We'll move from Challenger to Champion Europe, and we'll go into second division now. So you can see the second division players. Daniel Bachmann for Watford, one of the best goalkeepers, and they will be pushing to get promoted. So I've gone and got him. I could have gone and got the Burnley goalkeeper, and probably will keep more clean sheets. But I was also thinking a team that could get some clean sheets, but also that could potentially not make it into the Premier League and get another year. And Watford, now they've lost João Pedro, and that's their main goal source. I know they've got Ismail Assar and stuff, which we'll get to, but I was thinking if they don't get promoted and Daniel stays with them, then I've got another goalkeeper that will be fighting for promotion, keeping clean sheets. If I'd gone for the Burnley goalkeeper, I'm more or less a shoo-in to get promoted to Premier League, but then once he goes to Premier League, I'd have to sell him. It's 2 schools of thought in it. I could have gone with him, sold him in June or July when the season was finished, and then gone for another Championship goalkeeper, or just kept Daniel and then keep him if they don't get promoted, which they may or may not. It's a coin toss. Then I keep him for another year. I don't know, honestly. I don't know what I've done right or right. But then I got him as a goalkeeper. I got him as a reward, a tier 2 reward. I want to say Raul Fernandez. And when you actually look at Raul Fernandez, I only just got him within the last week or 2. But when you actually look at him as an actual reward and you look at his scores, I mean, the guy is not messing about. Look at this. 11 clean sheets, 1 goal. That's 12 contributions in the last 3 months since the second division has started. Look at that. 4 60s, 70s, 3 70s to 80s, 1 80 to 90. I mean, absolutely amazing. He got a red card here 3 minutes in, very unlucky. Otherwise, they could have gone on to keep a clean sheet or whatever. There, you just don't know, do you? But I mean, wow. I mean, he's actually better than Bachmann on stat wise. So I've got a coin toss between the two that I could use here for matchups. Defenders, I've got absolute beasts here. We've got Christopher Ottery and Adrian Monfrey, which will be my main 2 defenders. Either rotate or put in the same game week as my defender and the extra. But I do have some other big boys. Hassan Kamara has just got red carded in the previous game week, so he'll be back in the next game week. Jonathan Panzo, we've got right here, which, you know, amazing, absolutely great AA. Doesn't get a huge amount of decisives, but as a defender, you want AA more than anything else. They don't keep an awful lot of clean sheets. They did, but then they've started conceding the last 2 or 3 game weeks, which is really frustrating. But even so, he still hits around 60, and that's without clean sheets. When he does get a clean sheet, this guy goes on to 80s. So he actually is a brilliant person to have within there. And Kenneth Powell, even though I sold his rare, I've still got his, his limited. We've got Jeffrey Cart, which I still believe is a great defending option. And I've got a few rotationary, Vitinho, Eric Dame, and a few other boys here. He was a reward that I only just got. So I've got 2 or 3 big defenders. Midfielders, Marco John, he had an injury, but he's from Hoffenheim. He's actually playing in the second league in, I believe, the Bundesliga 2 on loan. Which, you know, this guy's only 20 in real life, so he's got years and years of under 23. If we have a look since he was on loan in the last 3 months, I mean, he literally doesn't get a huge amount of decisives, but as a left back or left midfield, he literally just barnstorms. His A is average of 20.4, absolutely killing it. And he's only 20, so he'll be my main go-to guy there. So very, very happy. But we have got some additionals: Ben Sheaf and Mateus. Francesco, again, he normally always stars in the first division. They got relegated, I believe, and they managed to keep him in the second division. I might be wrong, but I'm sure I've read something, I've seen some. And Hamza is currently injured. But I do have one big one, and Ben Sheaf. His scores has been terrific currently, but normally he always hits around 55, 60, good 50 to 60 player. Marco John is a 60 to 70 player. So I'll rotate between these, and these are all my extras. And then we go into forwards, guys, and you'll see straight away Jean Pedro got injured. Normally he's double the price I bought him for, which I think was only 60 odd quid, but he's normally double that and more, and a little bit more. So very happy that I got Jean Pedro. Once he's fully fit, his price will double instantly, so I'm absolutely brilliant there. I've got Ismail Assar that I normally play week in, week out, but Pookie has been coming up with the cards lately. Manuel Benson, if this guy starts, he normally delivers on an assist or goal, one of their better players moving forwards, but the problem is he's very rotationary, you know, sometimes he starts, sometimes he doesn't. It's very frustrating. Vincent Kompany as a manager is frustrating because you can't nail him on week in, week out like certain players, but I think as a whole, Daoud, brilliant. If you want 50 to 60 every single game, this is your boy. If you want 60 to 70, this is your boy. You know, if you want just good AA, 40 to 50, 55, Ismail Assar. If he scores or assists, it's brilliant. So, you know, this is probably my I don't want to say weakest section in terms of, you know, the second division, because I've got some great players. If he was fully fit right now, this would be super strong. When he's not playing and I'm relying on these guys, it's all every week, it's hit or miss. Will they play? Will they not? Will they score? Will they not? Will they assist? Will they not? With my defenders, midfielders and goalkeepers, they're pinpoint week in starters, and they always know it's the forwards that normally always let me down, you know. So this is where I need him back within the next month or two. Now let's move straight on to under 23s, guys. So let's quickly move on to this one for you. Under 23s, you don't need to click anything. I just do this, go to the goals and filter. So under 23, we'll be selling Nicholas Heddle. We've improved and got a better goalkeeper. We're playing for a better team and has more games per season. So I've got my goalkeeper that I said I was going to buy. I've now gone ahead and got defender. We can go straight in for under 23s. You'll see maybe a selection of similar players now as we go into the under 23s. Diego Palacios, I've got LA Galaxy. He's got another year or two, another year I believe minimum, if not two, on there, and he'll be a great one to have because he always starts from his brilliant. Mies Hilgers, which I'll be predominantly using as my main one, and then we've got some other players. Benoit Badiashile, which was champion Europe but is in here. When he's Monaco, he had an injury, but when he's back starting week in, week out, Monaco are an incredible team and his scores are normally terrific. It's just that he's been injured and he's trying to get himself back in the team. He's not fully fit. Once he is, it'll be between him, Mies Hilgers, Diego Palacios, once obviously they start in the next 6 to 8 weeks. So I've got a nice little setup here for under 23s midfielders. Again, you see in similar players, Marco John, Enzo Lefi, Yusuf. These are all quality players. We've also got Montreal Lassie Lapagnon. When he plays and he's fully fit, he's good to go. He had a long-term injury, he's back now. And we've got a couple of rotationary players for Genk that they both play for, and again we've got some more rotationary players, but the main ones is Enzo Lefi, Marco John and Yusuf. But if he plays in the second division, not under 23s, it's Enzo. If he ends up not playing, he'll jump in and I'll rotate. So I've got players for second division and under 23. Forwards, we can go in here and you'll see João Pedro again, Dango Otaro, which will be my main player that I'll be going for, because he'll be second division under 23. I also have Ken Kubo, which isn't even a rotational player, he's actually amazing. It's just the fact, again, long-term injury. So this is what you always remember as well: the bigger your gallery gets and the more injuries you have, you need them rotationary players. So the fact that I have 2, 3, 4 players for every single division in every single league means that when I do have multiple injuries, I can fall back on. What I never wanted was one big injury to say João and I have Ragnar to fall back on. Now I have a big injury here, I've got Dango. If Dango gets injured, I've got him. If they both get injured, I've got Ken. I wanted it so that I was backing up my backup at all times so I can compete week in, week out, and that's what I've always wanted. We'll move in, take off under 23s, and what we're going to go to is the 2 next ones, which is American. We're going to go to, I'm predominantly focusing on MLS, but we'll pop the America on here now. Let's filter this, and I'm actually going to be upgrading 3 players in the MLS. So Carlos will be getting sold, and the reason being is I will be getting another player, which will be Andre Blake. Now Andre Blake plays for Philadelphia Union, which won the league. In fact, I'll be able to bring him up for you by just clicking on the actual team itself. Let's just do this, that's probably much easier in it. We'll click on Philadelphia Union. I've actually got the full stack like I do with 20. I've got the full stack with these boys as well. So let's quickly bring him up. There we go. So Andre Blake. Now we'll have a look at his scores, and you'll see, guys, look at this. They won the league. He had 16 clean sheets with 3 penalty saves. That's 19 contributions, which is absolutely fantastic. So he's the best goalkeeper for me for MLS anyway, and that's what I'm predominantly pushing. So I'll be upgrading my goalkeeper from him to then selling Carlos, or maybe even keeping Carlos in case Philadelphia aren't playing. I need a backup, that sort of thing. Defenders, we'll go straight into, I've got the best defenders: Kai Wagner, Jack Elliott, Diego Palacios, Alexander Callens, Willa Dillard, Andrew Brody. I mean, I've actually got the main ones I'll be pushing every week. There will be Kai and Jack, and then rotate the others if I need to. But as you can see here, guys, I've got LA Galaxy and the big boys of full stack. Midfielders, we're going straight in, and we can see Daniel Kazdak again. It's exactly the same. I've got Philadelphia Union, a full stack with Montreal, and I've got a couple of rotationary players such as the LA Galaxy, Kelly Acosta, Darlington Nagbe, which was an absolute mainstay for me. What's weird is when I look back from when the last MLS season was on, I was relying on Darlington Nagbe, Derek. I was relying on these guys, Jackson Yeovil, to go ahead and get me rewards, and I was so frustrated for months and months and months playing Sorare because my budget and what I was putting in is what I was getting back. Once in a blue moon in 10 game weeks I would get a reward. Now I have players that are literally playing for the best teams in all divisions that are going to get me them rewards, and that's what I always wanted. I want to be able to put 10 game weeks out, 10 teams out, and half of them, a third of them, get a reward. Tier 3, Tier 2s, Tier 1 stars, week in, week out. That's been my goal, and that's what that's hoped to achieve. In terms of midfielder though, sorry, I've just bypassed. I will be actually getting one player, which will be this player. All these players are going to be bought this particular month. I'll be getting Hani Mukhtar, which is the best midfielder on the platform when it comes to MLS. He literally is an absolute monster. 30 goal contributions. Just look at this. This guy just does not stop. Look how many goals and assists are on here. It's just absolutely frightening. So he'll be my main midfielder, and Daniel Gazdak as a substitute or like a backup, and then got some further backups. And then for my forward, this isn't even the guy. The guy I'm going for is Sebastian Trusu. Now, Sebastian, again, is the best forward on the platform for his respective team. And not just Austin, but for the MLS. Again, 30 goal contributions. If we have a look, again, the guy's just absolutely crazy. He's goals, more goals and assists with him as opposed to Hani Mukhtar. But he'll be my main forward, which I'll be again buying within the next couple of weeks with Diego Rubio as like a backup. And we can always swap depending on who their matchup is. And then I've got a couple of rotationary players. So once Sebastian comes in for the forwards, once Hani Mukhtar comes in here, once I get Andre Blake for the goalkeeper and the defenders, I don't need to upgrade. I've got amazing defenders. I'm stacked out for America, and that for me is, if not podium, definitely T1 star level sort of players. Now we'll move on to the next one, which is the last one, guys, and then we've gone through literally everyone, and then I'll do a breakdown of it. Is now this particular player here, will come off this right now, is let me just bring his scores up. So yeah, so they actually won the league, I believe. Yeah, they did, and not only did they win the league, but Yoko Mana, but he actually had 16, that's what I was trying to think, I was trying to get my words there, 16 clean sheets, which is absolutely amazing. So look at that, absolutely fantastic, with 11 of 70 to 80. Now we've actually gone with sort of a semi-stat between, what I did was, for the MLS and for the Asia, is I went into the league, and what I did was I specifically just looked at who the top 2 or 3 teams were that finished within K-League, J-League, and I also looked at the best assisters, scorers, best defenders for each league. So I don't know too much about the Asia, so unlike the MLS that I stayed up and watched an awful lot of different matches and got to know some players, I didn't do that with the Asia. I just threw my Asian players in and hoped for the best. With this, I still don't know an awful lot about Asia, but what you'll see is, so you'll probably know more about the teams and the players. I just went with who's the top 2 or 3 ranked in every single position for K-League and J-League, and I just went and bought them players and just threw them in. So again, I did this like 2 months ago, so I don't actually remember. I do remember him being one of the top goalkeepers, or the best goalkeeper. He's only 25, 26 years old as well, which is amazing. I went and got the best defender that I could find, Eduardo. I also got a couple of really good rotational players, well, not even rotationally, Tomoki Iwata, which is, again, this will be between these two that I play. They both play for the same team, which again, this team was, what was it say? I can't remember who they even played for. Yeah, it's the same team, yeah. So it's the goalkeeper, and I got the 2 defenders that were the best defenders for their team. So I'm going for a stack, a bit like the Philadelphia Union. I'm going for a stack with these, and I got some rotationary players that I either won by reward or I just bought at the time, which I think I bought these guys, and these guys were players that I won. I also went and got a couple of players here. We've got one, I believe these are the 2 players that I went out and bought for their teams, and as you can see by the 15s and 5s, absolutely amazing. And then these are my rotationary players. Again, I don't know too much about the leagues, again, except that they were the top players, in the top 5 for their respective teams and the league in general. So hopefully I'll know more about all these players in the coming months, because I'll do more research and try and watch their teams, or watch highlights at least. But these are definitely top players. Forwards, Again, I just went for the top. I think he was in the top two, top one. Thiago Santana for his team, and again we've got the same. Yoko Mana was their striker. Elba, I went and just got their striker. So I've actually got. I need a midfielder from their teams. I've got the goalkeeper, 2 defenders, a striker, but I haven't got a midfielder. So I've been picking up the midfielder for that team. But I also went ahead and got these strikers and these. And again, I was relying on these 2 to yield me rewards week in, week out, which again is good for underdog and specialists, but they're not going to win anything in Asia when you submit them. With these 2, especially Thiago, this is where you're thinking now I'm going to actually yield good rewards. So I actually feel like with this defender, these 2 midfielders, defenders, midfielders, and these strikers, I think I can actually go places. If you feel I've missed anything out though within either Champion Europe, Challenger, Asia, Second Division, Under 23, America, if you feel like I'm missing any specific players, do feel free to sort of let me know. So again, what I'll do for you is I'll put it back to goalkeeper, and I'll show you my global all-star, and just basically show you a sort of a slideshow of all players. So if you feel like I can get rid of anyone or upgrade anyone, if you feel like anyone's moving or getting sold and I need to replace them, now's the time to tell me, because this particular month is when I'm buying them 3 extra players. So there was also one other player I wanted to get as well, Griezmann, which is only like £80 to £100, and I was going to buy him just to put in for a Champion Europe, so I can upgrade that as well. So there is Griezmann that I'm looking to get, and it's about £500 or £600 I'm still looking to put in before Asia and America start, so I can basically complete the set. But let's do a scan here, guys. So goalkeepers, as you can see, it doubles up. I haven't got 2 of each, it's just the way Sorare data is acting up. So have a quick look, scan of these boys. You can see who I've got. I really feel like I've got the best goalkeepers for their respective leagues within my budget, which to be fair is quite a healthy budget. Defenders, there was 22 defenders. It says 81, but I haven't got 81 because they've doubled up on a few players. And we can have a look, starting from here and work our way down. I'm really frustrated it's doing this. So annoying. But here we go, guys, so you can see. I really feel like it's mad, innit, when you look at where I was 12 months ago. Yeah. Let's have a look at midfielders. Honestly, guys, though, I am super stoked, super happy with my gallery now. I really feel like I've got some incredible players. Again, it could always be better, innit? You could always have the Mbappes, the Messis of every single league, but I generally feel like I'm really onto a winner here. Yeah, and then the last one. The legends, I've also gone ahead and got myself a load of legends as well, but when they start the legends, I don't know, do you ever win anything from it? Not really, but now I've gone and bought more legends and better legends and whatnot. I really feel like when they do restart that, if they restart that, we should go ahead and potentially try and win something down that route as well. Yeah. It's weird, when you're looking, you probably do this as well, when you're looking at your gallery, you're looking for holes, weaknesses, things that are going to stop you from progressing. And that's what I consistently do. I'm always looking what leagues are starting. What I want to do though, guys, is I just want to show you something. Mad in it, if we go to here and I choose, let's just go on to Challenger Europe real quick, goalkeeper, and this is what I like to do as well. Now, it's not exactly correct because I could pick a player and they could be in the top 10 or top 5 at that time and I go and buy him. But then what happens is, a week later, they have an off game, it drops them from the top 5 to 13th position overall. So then you're like, oh well, I'll buy some. So you can consistently buy something that's always in the top 5. But the reality is, if you get a player that's in the top 5 over the last 10, 15 games and he's still in the top 5, the reality is, unless he gets injured or something or doesn't play or whatever, he's always going to be in or around top 5, top 10, because he's that type of calibre of player. Like an Mbappe, Messi's never going to drop to 50th overall in their particular league or overall the platform, just because of that solid ilk of player. And this is what I like to do. Like, for example, I know I've got Lars Unnerstall. When I got him and bought him for like 150 quid at the time, he was sitting here first or second. He's now dropped to 4th. He may even drop to 7th or 8th. He may go to top 10. But the reality is, he's never going to drop down to here, because I've got a solid player that's only 32, consistent, always low over 55 to 60 in that region. And if he has one really good week where he hits 80 or 90, he'll go from 4th, he'll go to like top 2. If he has a week now where he hits 20 or 30, he might drop down to here. If he has another good week, he'll go back up. He's always going to be hovering around, and this is what I wanted. I wanted to get players that will always be hovering around the top 5. I may not be able to afford, for example, Lars Unnerstall in this situation actually is one of the most, or second, the most expensive player out the top 10 or whatever. But let's just say there was a goalkeeper worth 500 quid and I can buy him. What I did was, then I just went to the next best thing, and I did that with every single one. So I've got Lars Unnerstall. Let's go to top 10 again in the last 10 defenders. I've got Daniel Munoz, so I know I've got somebody who's in the top 4 there. Have I got anybody else? I've got Guy Smal, I've got Gilhem. So I may not have top 1, 2 and 3, but I have got 4th, I've got 8th, and I've got 11th, and then time I go down, I've got Brandon Shield, so on and so forwards. And again, any of these 3 players that I've got, they all only have to have one good game, and then they'll jump from top 8 to top 5. He could go from top 4 to top 1 or top 2, so on and so forwards. So I wanted players that, and I've got 3 players that are like more or less in top 10. Midfielder, if we have a look here, and this is what I do consistently all the time. Anastasios Bakasetas, every time I check, he's always in first place. He's now dropped to second. When I bought him, he was around £100. He's now around £150. So if I sold him, I made 50 quid profit. But why would I sell a player that's at the top? But then common sense could say, sell him now, pick somebody up that's like I don't know, somebody that's like Usman, a third of the price now. He's having a really good he's doing well for his team, and then make some profit. And when he drops down to 100 quid, which inevitably will, because he'll have a couple of bad games, pick him back up. So you could do that if you wanted to go down that route. But again, I look at here, I've got somebody who's in 2nd place. I've got somebody that's in 11th place. I've got somebody that's in, no, I don't have him, because he's someone I didn't end up getting. I've got, no, not Enzo Fernandez. So yeah, we're going down here now. But I've got a couple of people, somebody who's nearly in top 10, and when I got Teddy, he was in top 5. He's now dropped down to 11th, but he'll go back up to top 5 at some point, because he's that calibre of player, and that's what I'm trying to get at. But Anastasios Bakasetas, yeah, he's definitely the top boy, most expensive again I've got. We're going to forwards. This will be different, because the forward players are always more expensive, and yeah, I didn't think I would be in the top 5, but Nuno Santos, I've got his 11th position. Again, I'm probably the weakest here. And the reason why I'm the weakest at this point is because when I got my players, my Pepe, my Nuno Santos, etc., I was in top 10, but then they've had injuries. One got a red card injury, one got another injury. They both dropped down and didn't play, while others have played and got better. But my players that I've got inevitably will try and get in that top 10, top 5 again. But I could easily go out and buy one of these, but then there's no point, because the players I've got aren't good enough to get here. They're just been unlucky lately, that's all. So I'm not going to stress, panic or anything. If we go back to goalkeeper and have a look at, that was challenger. We have a look at, let's go into 2nd division real quick, and let's go into top 10. So yeah, we've got here, and the player that I've got was, for goalkeeper, was Daniel. So overall, he actually is here 28th, because he's actually had a couple of, I told you, Watford lately, the last 2 or 3 game weeks, have conceded goals. They were going through a stretch where they were they weren't conceding, and he was actually in the top 10 for overall and the top 3 for championship, for the championship, English championship. But because they're conceding a few games lately, he's dropped well down the pecking order. The one that I really wanted to look at though, again, we could go through this, guys. I could go through this for every single one, but the two that the one that I wanted to look at was the Major League Soccer, because that's the one I'm really excited for with the players that I've currently got. But we have a look here. I've gone for Andre Blake, which I'll be buying, so he's in top 3. I assume he's actually going to be much higher as well. Second one, Kai Wagner, Jack Elliott, I've got Andrew Brody, I've got Diego Palacios, I'm thinking about also getting Jacob Glesnes, because he's like rotationary and he also plays, so I think I'm going to get him. I'm actually convinced I'm going to buy him anyway. So then but look how many people I've got just in the top 10. Midfield, we've got here, let's have a quick look. We've got we'll be getting Hani Mukhtar, and then I've got some other players. I've got Lassie, so on. I've got a couple of players, Daniel Gazdak, and then finally for striker, I'll be getting Sebastian Drusi. I've got Diogo Rubio, and then I don't really have anyone else for strikers. So yeah, I'm really excited, guys. I don't want to bog you down too much of all of this, but what I wanted to do was just really show you exactly where I am with the current team, where my gallery is, how much money I've spent. I've shown you sort of their injuries. Again, I've just given you an overall. You can see here, unknown how long they're going to be back for. January the 8th, January the 9th, 9th, 10th, 10th, 15th, 15th and 23rd. So I do have a few players here which are currently out. Once I get some of these boys back, this is going to drop down. By the end of January, I think I'll have literally half the amount of players. So I'll be fully stacked and ready to go for Asia and America. But again, guys, if you do feel like I've missed anything in any particular league or any new updates you want to tell me, please update me. I am super happy, super stoked that I'm going to be getting these players in, and that I really feel like I've got teams now ready to go. But yes, this is me, over and out. Subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff. Comment and get on that Discord as well, boys. Peace. Love you all.